Hey y'all. I apologize for my tardiness. Can y'all see and hear me? Oh. Can y'all see and hear me? Hello. Hello. Happy Monday. Let me know you can hear me okay. It's been a while since I've been live. Hey y'all. I got my friend with me today, stylist April B. I added her to the stage.
Hey y'all.
Yeah, so wait, I want to make it. Let me make it a little different. Unknown color. She and I are here today. Hi, Precious. Hi, Tashia. Hi, Facebook user. Hi, just a random thought or just random thought. Hi, Alex. Happy New Year. When do we officially stop saying Happy New Year? Like the end of January, right? Because I really, yeah. Hi, Janice. You can hear me. Hi again, Precious. Hi, Tawanda. It's me, Tawanda from Pittsburgh. I love every time Tawanda. I can see your name now, but you used to always say it's me, Tawanda from Pittsburgh. So I always know that Tawanda is from Pittsburgh. Hey y'all. Okay. I'm so happy that I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to have my girl April B. Y'all make sure if you're on YouTube that you follow Stylist April B's channel right now. Take a second, follow, like her channel, subscribe.
My channel is. I don't be doing that with the channel. I'm so old school, y'all. I have to really get up with the times. I really am. I've had this YouTube for years, and it's there. But I'm gonna do better. I'm doing better in 2024. All the stuff that's on the other channels are gonna be on YouTube too.
Don't pressure yourself either because the year, I mean, everyone's been busy. Hi, Deborah. So she's joining me today in this discussion. Well, let me get a sip of water, y'all.
Yes, child.
Because she actually brought up she brought up the topic from something she saw. So I'll show the slides. I'll let her explain it to you. And then we're going to go ahead and have a conversation about this. You know, I'm going to be throwing in some tips. I have outlined some things that I want to make sure you know, but
yes.
Sorry, y'all. Baby steps, April. just how it says, beyond a small grid, creating microlocs that are actually micro and non-damaging. We're going to talk about why it's important. We're going to talk about some key things. We're going to break down some photos, and I have a video also that I saw floating around. And I want to add a little commentary to it and get your feedback as well. But based on what we talk about with Microloc Mastery Standards, we're going to break it down and why it may or may not be something that we would recommend. Does it sound good for everyone? Please like this if you're on YouTube, like the post if you're in the Facebook group.
Yes. Like, share.
Like, share, follow. All right.
Okay, so let's get into how this conversation even got started.
Let's do this post up on here.
So I saw the picture on the left. I saw that picture and I immediately sent it to Jessica because I'm like, just on what she's going through in the industry and how people are trying to replicate what she's created and call it something else. Me being in the industry and I see it all, I was like, okay, it didn't make sense. The post didn't make sense to me. No shade, but just looking at the 2-strand twists that are at the bottom of the interlock portion, that in itself is already going to let me know I've started. Okay, let me just go.
You want me to go to the slide that has your comments on it?
Well, let me go into letting people know because those of you who don't know me, because they're probably like, well, who is this lady and what is she?
Let's introduce ourselves.
Right. Okay, so I am stylist April B. I'm a loctician and celebrity loctician and natural hair stylist based out of Atlanta. I'm also a published stylist. I've been in Ebony Essence, black hair sophisticates, work with Revlon. Okay. I've been in the industry for over 25 years. I've done all sorts of, I've had the dealings with all sorts of locks and styles of locks. I've also, as a traditional loctician, I've started traditional locks via the 2-strand twist method for clients who did not want to go through the coil method or for whatever reason. I can put the photo back up, Jessica,
Sure.
please. I can tell you, I've started locks with 2-strand twists of that size, and within months, they've converted over to traditional size locks. This person, they're gonna have some variance if they don't eventually cut that part off. If they continue to get the interwoven technique on those locks, I feel it's going to be damaging. Look how small the base is, and if you look at some of the 2-strand twists, they're bigger than the base. So what's going to happen is when this person, and it all depends on what tool is being used as well. I just feel like this person is still going to have traditional size locks based on what I'm seeing here. And if they continue to get this interwoven technique done, that base is going to start thinning out because that bottom part where the 2-strand twist is going to bud. Look at the size it is right now. Within time, it's going to swell up even more. Okay, it's going to swell up more. So I don't agree that these are traditional Microlocs. This is actually a combination of 3 different things I'm seeing because for one, the very ends of this person's hair has heat damage. So that part is going to end up budding small like a sister lock or like a Microloc. The rest of it from that point to the part where it's being interlocked at the root is going to be a fat lock. There's going to be a lot of have to cut off at some point because this is just, in my opinion, in my expert opinion, and with me starting traditional locks off with the 2-strand method, I know what that is going to come with. Mm-hmm. That is going to be difficult to continue to pull through those small bases. Mm-hmm. And at some point in time, that base is going to be disintegrated. Mm-hmm. And you may have a bald spot or a thin, just going to break off completely.
Yeah, because as you pull it through, it snags a hair each time. So I want to also preface this by saying we're not trying to be mean or pick, so we blurred out names. We don't want, to bully the poster, but I just want people to be discerning. Even in the lot realm, in the natural hair realm, there's people that have an expertise in certain areas. So April has an expertise enough in locks to even see this. But there's people that may not, it doesn't translate exactly over to the Microloc realm, and especially for the standards that we've set with Microloc Mastery. So a lot of the standards, although Sister Locks was the one that created, brought to the attention small locks and has a lot of things that they do for that. There's other things that I've innovated upon and add to that strengthen the lock because there was also problems with strength. When you're talking about size and consistency, strength, and making sure that you make your grid to have that lock be a consistent size with what you're doing. That's what my contribution. That's what I focus on with Microloc Mastery. So when she showed me this picture, there's actually the base is braided, y'all. It's braided and then it goes into a 2-strand twist.
Right.
So there are going to be 3 different things, like you said, happening. And so, it was April, and because April and I talk, she's more honed in when she sees these things come on our feed. And so I wanted to make sure that at least if we give you some of the fundamentals of locking and what could become problematic, that you could be more discerning when you see things. So photos could look really nice, or someone could be in an industry for X amount of decades and still be giving some problematic information. And so this is what we wanted to make sure that we just kind of help you decipher through. So if you see the words on it, right, and then we're going to get to April's caption that she has in the next photo. This business owner was saying not all micros are small. This is a picture of a medium large set of micros. Now right there, can we just break that down for a second?
I was confused.
Yeah. I have said on my platforms that within the realm of quote unquote microlocs, as I was branding it, there are a variety of sizes, but they still would fall under a very small. We have like a medium or a larger size quote unquote micro lock, but they're not going to be called large locks. And we have a whole chart, we have a whole thing within our program that's printable and that people can use and tweak. But when it gets to a certain size, they're no longer considered micro. You're creating a base and foundation for what would be more traditional locks. You cannot make your grid square tiny, and you have to be mindful of the variations within microlocs, right? First, define that. So this already falls way out of the realm of what we would even put into microlocs. But then this person says the client has thick hair and wanted to make sure her retightenings were under 2 hours. You can have micro locks that are done officially within our system and have a retightening that is 2 hours. It's not uncommon that I have clients that have officially sized micro locks that take 2.5 hours. I'm not saying everyone should try to aim for that because there's factors for that, but for them to start it this way is interesting for it the result to be because of time. Then they said at this size, she'll be looking at about a 90-minute retightening on average. So they're creating a style backwards based on time frame of retightenings. That's problematic in so many different ways. We can think about sizing and think about like what people would like for size and convenience, which I can understand that. But to do it, to create a foundation that's not, oh my God. I don't know where to begin, but I don't know if this could be even in the realm of quote unquote microlocks using an interlocking pattern. Um, and then saying because you want it to be under 90 minutes. So there's a couple of things here that just are confusing. And they're similar to people of our culture. Micros are not a monolith. Y'all have heard me say that almost exact. Well, I said microlocks are not a monolith in general meaning. Ask how people are defining microlocks. Some people want a specific outcome, but when they go to someone that says they do microlocks, they're doing something different than maybe what the client is expecting something different than what the stylist is doing. And so then I've used that term to say they're not a monolith and that you have to understand what people are doing and doesn't align with what you want. This whole post is confusing. And April
But
5th.
I was like, because I mean, I'm me looking at it. Like I know that this is. I mean, you can look at it and tell this is going to be a traditional lock.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you have a grid pattern and just because you're doing a tool does not make it a micro lock.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't consider now the only way around this whole thing, which is going to be costly if I ever had to do it. She can still have micro locks, but we would have to use the instant lock technique to fuse all of that 2-strand down until it gets small. And we really don't know until you actually are in that person's hair. Even me doing the instant lock technique with the itty bitty micro crochet tool, it still does not mean that that lock is going to be super, super tiny at the end of it because there's only so much compression that hair is going to do. So me looking at, okay, so if you look at that one big large twist that's on the right hand side versus some of the smaller twists that are in this back area, it's not gonna, she's gonna have a variance of size. She's gonna have a variance of size all throughout because you can see where some of the grid pattern, some of the squares are tinier than others. Nothing is consistent. If anybody knows anything about me, I don't play about my parts. I do not play about my parts. I don't play about my grid pattern when I start traditional locks. Like I need everything to look like I'm real anal about that. Like I need it to look precise so that I can make sure that that base and that lock that's growing out that base 5 years from now is going to be the way it needs to be. So it's not that she can't get Microlocs the right way. At where she is right now, it's going to be a whole bunch of different procedures that's going on. And by the time she gets all these different procedures, she might as well have just untwisted all that out and just went to an actual certified Microloc person through Jessica's program to get it done the right way. Because if I have to interlock all that, that's going to be about close to $4,000. I'm not even lying to you. Because that hair has length. And even so, like I said, if you look at the ends of the hair, there's heat damage there. So therefore, when that part locks up and starts to bud, it's going to be even tinier than that. Because keep in mind, right now her hair is swollen because she just got it done and it's 2-strand twist. And they're going to swell up. By the time she got to the top part of her hair, that back was already swelling up to as far as it can expand. So, and then once she starts to do the budding process and once she starts getting shampoos and stuff, it's going to swell up even more. Those locks are going to be big. And again, trying to pull that hair through there like that within time, I can just see the bases are going to be damaged. Persephone said, so is there a way to change the size of the locks instead of cutting it all off and starting over? Yeah, with the tool.
Yeah.
But even with the compression of that doesn't mean that they're all are going to be that same small size. Because I already can see that the 2-strand twists are 2 different sizes already. So
Yeah. Y'all, am I frozen? Because my computer is acting very wonky right now. I think I have too many.
I can hear you. I can see you.
Okay, I'm just trying to close up some of these windows so I can see y'all, see the screen better. But and so we do talk about adjusting sizes for microlocs as well with the form of combining and splitting. But it's not something that is, I mean, it's much easier to combine than it is to split and also correct at the same time when you have size discrepancy like this. Depending on how much smaller you want to make it, you might not be able to use some of those techniques. Um, if you wanted, sometimes I've split locks where they wanted it slightly smaller, but if it's that much bigger and it's a 2-strand twist pattern at that, so it's really going to be a lot puffier, then it will be highly unlikely that we won't have to actually comb some things out and restart. That
I
makes sense.
get on my phone to zoom in. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I could get my screen to work better.
like let's zoom in so y'all can
Um,
understand what I'm talking about.
I can't zoom in on my end. I can't even see the screen, y'all. I'm talking to
Y'all
like
see?
page. Hold on, let me check on here and see if y'all can see. Comment if you're having trouble seeing it.
I wonder, can I airdrop the picture to the computer and then upload it to the?
Okay.
Is there a way to zoom in on the StreamYard?
Oh, I can make you bigger. Yeah, I can't see the screen. Y'all bear with me. I see what my
Yeah, Precious. Precious said there's so many different sizes of the boxes. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Those are not even, to me, those are not even traditional Microloc size parts.
Mm-mm.
There may be some in there, but just looking for what we see right here is not.
Okay, let me try to make you bigger. Give me a second. I didn't restart my computer since last week. And I'm noticing, I was like, I meant to restart it. So it's just doing this little thing. So let me see. I'm going to make you.
Yeah, she has a lot going on. She gonna have sister locks at the bottom,
Are you bigger
dimple
now?
in the middle, and then braid Microlocs at the top. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead and show. Go ahead and show it now. I think you're bigger now.
Okay, so this is just to go to show you. Let me see. Do you see? Oh, my phone is blaring in the hold on. I know I gotta think. Those are big.
Mm.
So there's a lot of stuff going on.
That, and I zoomed in, and that's not even an interlocking. It looks like a braid starting to. I don't understand
It's a
why
braid.
that's
It's a
done.
braid, and then it's two strand twisted. But you can see right there, those are going to be large locks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be large
Very.
traditional locks. So um the only way around that for her to continue to have the size that she has at the base, that is going to have to be insta-locked. Or she's going to have to, at this point, I would have just undid all of that and just did it you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so you also, in when people are coming to y'all for consultations about this, because I'm seeing, me being a stylist, I just see so much. I'm looking at this, and this person, even, and she also mentioned that the person doesn't want to sit there for a long time. Sweetheart, if you have a lot of hair, no matter what method you use, you're going to be sitting there for a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather sit as a consumer. I would rather sit there for a couple hours and knowing it's going to be the right way, than to sit there for a couple hours, because, like I said, what's going to happen is she is, for one, going to have to let that break, because it's a braid at the top. It's a braid at the top, and then it's going down into these chunky two strand twists. She's
Mm-hmm.
going to have to let that. She's not going to be able to get a retightening anytime soon in order for that hair to be able to be pulled through like that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's still going to break off. And then we don't even know what tool is being used. So you don't know if it's a tool similar to yours. You don't know if it's the Sister Lock tool. You don't know if she's using the pink and neon green
Neon green. Yeah.
holiday tool. I don't
Yeah.
like that. I don't like
Yeah.
that tool because it's going to break the hair off. So we really don't know what's going to go on during this process with this client. But I can tell you, as a traditional loctician, these are traditional locks. I don't care what the base looks like. This These are Precious said the boxes are crooked. One is interlock. It looks like it is braided top.
Oh my gosh.
A lot going on. So
Yeah.
this person, and if this stylist did not educate the client on what her upcoming progress is going to look like, if this client is really dead set on having micro locks, she's going to be pissed in the long run when she realizes that these locks are traditional. And the
Mhm.
only way she won't be pissed is if she really just cares about her time frame. Because after
Mhm.
a certain point, I mean, these really could be palm rolled and
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah. Yep. I'm hoping I don't have to go in from another browser and have you hold down for it for a second, April, because my screen is my computer's not showing fully the screen, and I want to show y'all a couple more things and control the screen better.
Mhm.
So
I can answer some of the questions. We have a question.
sure. Do you know you can share it from your end too?
Um,
You can show it.
the question, how do I show it? I don't think so.
Okay, I can
There it
show
is
it.
right there.
Mhm.
So Shaylee Harbin says, what makes her not an ideal client for Microlocs? Jessica, I think you can answer that question. I mean, I know I can answer it, but this is what you do.
I mean, oh, I think Precious was commenting first, then she is not an ideal client because I think she was responding regarding what you were saying about sitting for a long time. I think
Mhm.
that's what Shaylee let me know if I'm not answering it correctly. And so when you're talking about something on a small level, that's refined and it requires a certain attention to detail, I would expect that people know that that usually is not a fast, speedy service. That does require some extended amount of time sitting. We did. Tosha has done a workshop on the ideal Microloc client, and I think she may have touched. I believe she touched on like being able to also sit for the amount of time. There are some people that just they can't sit a long period of time. Maybe they need to find a different style that is quick and simple. But I think that's what Precious might have meant. Yeah, she's saying that was her reasoning. So if a person has a is this is why I like when professionals are able to give education about a service. When someone is asking questions or doing their we call it consultation.
Mhm.
This is the time to say this is what's required of the service. This is the time to know if the client is okay with those requirements, and or this is what they're okay with, what they're looking for. Because if it's not, then this is a time for them to say it's not the time for a professional to bend what should actually be done as far as creating a lock. If this is a person who wants locks, to bend it because it's not meeting some a time requirement or something that yeah, this is not the time to bend on professionalism and skill and talent to accommodate someone not wanting to sit for a long time. Now you can adjust it another way, like this service takes 2 days, or this service takes 24 hours. We can split it up into 4 6 hour days versus doing two big long days. That's how we can get. And then I can size it a little larger for you, still using these recommended ideal methods, so that you have a larger size microloc, as opposed to giving you a two strength completely different style that's going to be more traditional. Like yeah, so then you can adjust within the framework of what is the standard for that style. If they don't really know what microlocs are, they really want something else, that's the time to define that too.
Mhm.
Oh, it sounds like you might be a better suited candidate for like the traditional, and then with the palm rolling. So this will be a little faster for you, and your maintenance is going to be different. That's what I have that lock quiz too for people, because micro locks, as it is commonly should be known as, is not the same process. So then these shortcuts are being taken, and it's starting to fall outside of the realm, and it's starting to fall into a traditional lock being pulled through a skinny base in an
Right.
interlocking pattern, because it is commonly known, or people use interlocking commonly for what they term microlocks. Whether they're doing it with braids or twists, I talk about where that came from, and how that was supposed to be seen as a faster method. But when we're talking about locking on a small scale, that method is not ideal, because we need consistent, refined, well done locks that are not bumpy and lumpy and oversized in some areas. And we're going to have efficient, quick retightenings. I had a person whose hair was waist length. She had a long, small size. Her hair was the same size as mine, and her retightenings were 2.5 hours. A little bit thinner density than mine, but not much more. Mine could be 4 hours or less. On a good day, it's 3 hours if I really kept up to my retightness. Teach the clients how to maintain their hair on a regular routine, instead of waiting 9 months or 3 months or whatever amount of time between retightness. Talk about all the other ways that they can make it efficient and quick. But if you're going to come in my chair with big lumpy bumps, really hard to pull through, that is actually going to take away your time. It's going to start damaging your hair as you're ripping through. And that's why I challenge people who are calling something microlock and doing all these methods that make it really big and inconsistent. Why are you trying to fit something into a category that really is not doesn't work well for it? The interwoven interlocking maintenance technique is very ideal for a smooth cylindrical barrel small size locks if your base is small. If you have a little bit larger size, because I have done interlocking on a little size larger lock, it does require skill, so you don't get that split. But also the locks were still fairly on the smaller side of a traditional lock. He didn't have really big jumbo locks. And he fit on my tools, my two size tools. His lock could fit within that. And he could go between palm roll and interlocking, but it had to be done well, and it was always smooth and consistent. So I don't want to be rambling, but ask people that you're doing a maintenance technique that is actually going to be damaging to your hair, because you're trying do start and install in a way that's not designed to do.
And
Whew.
another thing that I see, which irritates the mess out of me, I see interlocking on large locks. I don't agree with that. You can feel it. You can see it when it's time to shampoo. You can stick your finger through it. You can stick a tool through it.
Mhm.
And I hear that the reasoning is because, oh, interlocking lasts longer. Okay, it does. However, if you have a lock that is a large traditional size lock, I don't see the need to interlock that lock. If it's all about the style lasting, I mean, not even the style. If it's all about the maintenance lasting longer, put the hair in the style.
Mm,
Style the hair. That's going to keep it from unraveling and unturning.
okay.
But interlocking large locks just does not make sense to me because you can see it, you can feel it. The lock doesn't even look straight down. The lock is like lumpy. Like, I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Okay.
That's one thing for those who are doing traditional locks. I just would not encourage you to do interlock on a large lock.
I'm gonna add to this stage what you said. Yo, I have to look at my phone because my the way StreamYard looks right now, it's like frozen. But I can see that you guys can see us. So I just put up the other slide. April, can you see it on your end? That you
Mm-hmm.
had a comment. Yeah. Um, so that kind of just expands more on your comments. And then I have another video I want to show that was like viral. A lot of these kind of videos are viral. I want to just break it down a little bit more and hear and get people's comments and opinions as well based on what we know, our standards. Did you want to say anything about your comment?
I'm trying to pull it up so I can see because girl, you know these eyes is not. I
Oh,
I
it's really
I,
funny.
I was basically saying that I don't do microlocs. However, I mean, as far as the interwoven technique,
Right.
I have started smaller locks, whether the person wanted to call them microlocks or not. But I have started smaller than traditional locks with the comb coil method. Um, just because I was introduced to the whole interlocking thing with that hot pink and neon crochet tool, and I don't like that tool. I feel like when you go in and you're going out and you're going up and down, left and right, east and west, whatever they teach you for interlocking, I feel like because that tool is open ended, that little hook pulls. And you think about how many times that little hook pulls and snaps a hair in a base.
Hmm.
Eventually that base is going to break off. I've repaired so many clients who have done the interlocking process, but I realized they were doing that process with that tool and not with a tool like how what Jessica has that it's a closed tool. There's nothing open that can snatch on the hair and cause it to break. Um, but I just, like I said, I just know from my experience that these are going to be traditional size locks. And if they continue to try to pull it through,
Hmm.
it's just, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Okay. Can everybody give me a moment to refresh this so that I can properly see my screen? One moment.
Yes, Precious, that tool is very damaging. And I've never liked it. That's why I don't do the interlocking process because I was introduced to it with that tool. And I'm like, and because I've had to repair so many clients' head that has were introduced to that tool because a lot of stylists did not know about the tool that Jessica has or any of the other new tools that they have going on, and I don't like it.
All right.
Take the hair off. It's going to.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I want to. I'm glad I have you on. Well, you know what? Let me go to this next little video I saw. Okay, I didn't show April this. And so I want to get y'all. We're gonna break this down. Okay.
What's the new lax tool?
I mean, the categories that we break down in the training. So if it, generally moving parts are have more potential of snagging, and things that don't have moving parts. Um, and have a different way of locking the hair. Typically, I feel for many reasons I prefer those kind of tools. So I don't know what that category that tool falls in, Precious, that you just put in the comments, but it's probably just
Let me Google it because I've never heard of that.
another type of tool. There's a many things that people are using now. Okay, I'm gonna have to reload this video file.
Oh, that thing. And see, to me, that's I don't. Okay, Jessica, you know what the tool is? Relax.
Not really.
It's this one, and I see people
Oh, I
use
think
it.
I had seen it. Looks like, is that how a sister locks tool looks a little bit or no?
I'm not sure, but just the fact that that piece is open like that and it's not a circle to where the lock can actually fit
Hook.
into
Yeah.
and you hold on to it, I can see that that could be damaging too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't that doesn't look sturdy enough for me, but if it worked, I mean, I don't I
Me
don't get
neither. It's
super
sharp. See
into
right
it.
there is sharp.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
looks like a paper, not a paper cutter, but it looks like if a thin piece of hair came across that, it's definitely gonna break off.
I see. I don't have experience using it,
Me either.
but
I've
I
seen
can
it.
really
I've seen it, but I was just like,
I like something that is more formidable for me, like holds the hair a little better in a different way. So I would be a little nervous with that. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna add this video. If y'all know the person, please know I'm not bullying. I don't know who they are. It just came across my feed. Because of the high amount of likes, it's very much very good, good work in a way of parting and very precise. But there's some things I want y'all to take note of. Okay, are y'all ready? All right.
Hey y'all, I done recorded this voiceover like 1,000 times. I'm not recording it no more. Anyways, she got Microloc
Y'all
installed with
hear
her
it?
real hair. Please don't not ask the price. Everybody don't always have the same price for micro locks with your hair. It's at 12 unless your hair is extremely short. Then of course,
No, hold on, y'all. I'm gonna rewind it. I'm trying not to get it to keep stopping and chopping. Is it choppy on your end?
a little
You can
bit.
hear me?
Hmm.
Hello? It's choppy. All right, I'm gonna do it again.
hey y'all, I done recorded this voiceover like 1,000 times. I'm not recording it no
It's breaking
more.
up.
Please don't ask. Everybody don't always have the same price. My starting for micro locks with
Oh,
your hair is at 12 unless your hair is extremely short. Then of course that chops off some of the price. All installs are very tedious. They take a lot of
oh,
time. I mean, so I do charge my worth, and I have no issue with saying the price now. Before I used to be hesitant because, of course, everybody not gonna pay that. I don't expect them to. And that's totally okay if you can find somebody cheaper. But look at my installs. If y'all literally look at my stuff, like it's never one install looks better than the next or looks this way. Everything is consistent. Hair density, hair texture, all of that plays a part in how your install will look. I still offer the extensions, the twists, and the braids. All the information is on my frequently asked posts on Facebook. Do people read that? No. Because I get a lot of comments and I get a lot of messages. I cannot always respond back to everyone. So I can hope that everyone reads. Unfortunately, they don't. Because I still get asked where am I located, and I put that fucking lollipop at the end of every post or that bookmark, whatever, with Goldsboro, North Carolina. So that shows me that people do not read. I promise y'all I'm not mean. I'm very nice. We have a good time at these appointments. And I don't want to sound like I'm annoyed, but I just need for everybody to kind of, help me help you. So that way, if you are serious about these installs, we can get you booked today. Consultation link in bio. Thanks for watching.
all right. Cha. First of all, the grid is immaculate, okay? But let's look. Can we zoom in? Those are braids. Braids. Okay. Now, I I always want to be clear about defining what locks are, defining how to structure a micro size lock really well, and how to understand how this process will work when you are taking in a small amount of hair and you are locking it. What she has done is a very beautiful mini braid. I know that the intention is to set it up as locks, and people will argue tooth and nail, and that whatever you intend for it to be, that's what you term it in that moment. She's got a lot of views, a lot of shares because of the grid is, like I said, the work is beautiful. But let's get to the real deal and
My
what people
anxiety
have
went
been,
up.
huh?
My anxiety went up. Just
Her energy is really crazy too. There's a lot going on, but
I
I
commend
don't want.
y'all.
If
I,
I didn't, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I commend y'all. There's no way I would have to charge $10,000 to do Microlocs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Y'all better
Facebook,
get to the bag because y'all do a lot of work. And
Facebook user got it. Mm-hmm. It
this,
ain't gonna last. It's not gonna last. It's not gonna last. It is beautiful, but it is not gonna last. Who remembers from our experiments when I showed you on the hair, or who's been through the process? First of all, her hair has very little curl. So when I talk about the high potential for braids to unravel at the bottom, that she seems like she now has a way higher probability of that. Because I don't know if her hair is naturally that texture or if it's been blown out, or because when she sprayed it with water, it did a little curl. But that number one is probably going to be one of the biggest things that's going to happen. Is going to just become a looser and looser and looser. All right. And then the braid, locks need curl to form into mat really into that cylindrical, especially with the pattern that we lay for micro, right? She has not laid that pattern. She's laid a regular braid, one very straight hair that potentially could come loose. So it'll look nice for a while. She's gonna start having some new growth. I don't know if her new growth is gonna be a different texture because I don't know if that's her natural texture, to be quite honest. It could be. But if it is, I don't know. When you start interlocking that, it's going to be pulling for a curl. It's going to look for a curl to start forming into a cylinder, and then the braid is going to be hanging. And I can almost guarantee you, I don't know this person's page. It sounds like she has a lot of installs that look immaculate as far as parting grid and neatness. But I haven't heard. I don't know how long she's been doing this because I almost can guarantee that a lot of people are going to be having problems after a while with the ends of their hair. So like someone just commented, it's not a lock foundation for micros, taking into consideration how hair naturally locks. It's a beautiful mini braid hairstyle that she's desiring for it to look like locks, but it's going to have a lot of several different things happening at once. So the ends are extremely straight. Now, who also remembers? I'm just going to drop stuff I teach in the training right now. I mean, it's just info. When I've talked about when people have had permed hair and they were transitioning to locks, and I've locked a client who's had perm ends who had virgin new growth. But the number one thing that we do not do is we do not form a locking pattern onto that straight hair. If it is not what's growing out of her scalp virgin, we are putting a pattern in for hair that is not going to curl in, that is not going to go into the pattern the same way. So we leave it out and we do a special process. This is not done in that way. So some persons like, can people not lock? So in the traditional lock realm, in the bigger size lock realm, you can start locks with braids and twists. And a lot of people have transferred that over to the micro lock realm, but it's not ideal because when you're dealing with hair on that scale and you want it to lock in the same way that you are maintaining it, 99% of people, I would say maybe a little less. I don't know who's palm rolling this size, but most people are interlocking, interweaving this size, which is a mirror to what you do with your fingers when you are creating locks from scratch on this size. We are doing the exact thing, but we do it with our fingers first, and then we do it with the tool so that your hair can come out seamless. Seamless tension, seamless size, seamless consistency for strength. Strength is of the utmost importance at this size because you get it like April was saying, a little let it catch on a couple of hairs break out the base. You're gonna have bald spots. You're gonna have thinning spots. People are gonna lose the hair. You need to really keep every strand of hair you have, and you need to keep it locking in a certain way really tightly for the if you are trying to get actual locked hair. right? So that's another question, because I don't know if people truly want that. So everything that's being done is the complete opposite of what a knowledgeable optician would do in creating locks that are going to be long term. She has a lot of length of hair and the grid. So I feel like, I'm gonna be honest, and that's why I either keep or lose people. But I feel like a lot of people can get confused that there isn't a lot of solid information that's credible, that's consistent. We can get caught up in the flashiness of a grid, and they automatically assume that a grid is going to equal these nice little, like, tiny locks, small locks, micro locks, because I see a little even parted grid. I see a lot of scalp, and I see consistent even. Wow, that's so beautiful and pretty. And yes, it is beautiful and pretty because she has her hair braided, and then she's got it like curly at the end. But that is not the same thing as walking into the lock realm and saying that's a great foundation for really strong, beautiful, uniform, micro size locks. And that's the only way I really want to emphasize that, because what happens is sometimes people don't know. I didn't know when I first went, into figuring out how I want small locks for myself. And that's the thing that catches people, is that they see installs and they think their hair is going to look like that, and that the girl quoted $1,200 starting. Starting. Most of us do a starting price and add on based on length. This woman has long hair. I can assume she probably spent close around 2,000 or more for this. Would you want to spend 2,000 or more for it to have problems? That this is almost inevitable problems, unless this person is like in the business of knowing how to repair and refine each of those little tiny locks. It's going to have some things happening that's going to look drastically different when she gets to 6 months, when she gets to year one, when she gets to sometimes 2 years, because her hair does not have much of a curl. So it might be progressively looking a certain way by the time she gets through her first 2 years. I don't know if I want to spend $2,000 not knowing that my hair could end up having so many problems where I'm redoing braids, or constantly having to rebraid, re-put a grid in because everything's coming out, or detangling my hair, and it's not locking at the same size. It's starting to look like a bird's nest or whatever. So people can start locks potentially from anything they want, but it's really what is what is the preferred method? What is the desired look? What is the desired strength? And what is the longevity you are seeking from that style? And if you have money to throw away, and experiment is one thing, but if you are looking for something that is more certain, that is, strong, and that can avoid a lot of problems, I think a lot of people would like to go that route and still have their hair done really well and still have their hair look fabulous. These are more temporary hairstyles. So when I talk about temporary versus permanent, I want people to think about, there's certain things. Even so, I was telling April, like, I've been to East Africa and met with some Maasai hairstylists and talked not just about our locks, but talked about a lot of the styles they do that we do here. So they have a style where they do twist this size. They do added hair, or they do your own hair. This is a braided style, but similarly, they know to take this style out at a certain time. They don't keep these styles in. No one, even the indigenous, they're always redoing, because there's it's even though now we've embraced locks, there's just a certain, if this is a look that's a temporary look, it's not going to look like this. There's certain things that have not been done in our history culturally, but when we do here, we kind of, or like, I think we don't have a memory of it, or we think something is going to look like something because we see it looks very similar. So the grid is a bunch of boxes. So if I throw any pattern in there, then it's gonna look like, it's pretty much going to give me the same outcome, and that's not always true. You could you could have small braids that look like locks and that end up looking really nice. But guess what? Guess why? After a while, a lot of your interlock root is going to be a lot of what you see. And if you have somebody that can go in and repair the rest of your lock to match it, good. Eventually, you'll have more of your own roots that you've interlocked showing. I don't know how much hair you're going to start with. So that's what a lot of people end up seeing year after year. Why not start it that way? So that you have the same consistency and not discrepancy, and not, different potential size issues and things. So that's what, if it takes just a matter of knowledge, or connecting with someone who knows how to do it, who knows how to repair properly, so that you can The shortcut you people think they take can end up being kind of the worst thing, because there's a lot of people that have had to redo or refix so much they spent the same amount in fixing than they did in the install. That's what I mean. But whew, I'm gonna take a sip of water. You got something to say, bro? Because I've been talking.
No, I was actually on. I was being nosy on Instagram because I wanted to see. I was just curious to see what a person that she's done this to 6 months. I just want to see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. I'm making a comment on Instagram. Hi, Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm not. Your comments don't show up on our StreamYard, so I'm just hopping in. Locks and Blues. Do you have pictures of or witness anyone else that may have started with two-strand twist Microlocs that came out looking okay? So I do know there's people that come to our program. I'm addressing some comments on IG real quick that have started that way, but I maybe we're biased because they come to our program usually because they want to fix it, or it's come out, or they want to learn how to repair it. So unless people share that, I don't shout them out or anything. I haven't seen too many people um like with long term two strand twists. I've seen a lot of installs. I've done interviews with people who've done their own DIY two strand twists. And so I think the biggest message I want to say is for people to just be armed with a lot of education. Just know that the industry, not just in the microloc realm, but in a lot of it, has a lot of unregulation as far as like people. Some people say it's the Wild Wild West, but there are pillars. Me, maybe there's a couple other people. Like I've been saying consistent information. I've been able to see 16 years of direct care services. I'm speaking on experience of fixing and repairing and preventing, so that hopefully people can avoid some of these things. So it's not like I'm just, oh, don't do that. It's the problems that we fixed. And I see a lot of people. This woman has 208K views just so far. I'm sure there's a lot more. I've seen people with millions of views on a Facebook post, and a lot of comments of it being beautiful, and that I cannot deny. It's beautiful, but oh, you don't hear enough. But until they come to a pro, or they come to a safe space to say, I've had a few people comment on YouTube. People, do your research. I've gotten this, I've gotten that, and this loctician said they knew how to do it, and they basically did, what I've been seeing on Instagram, and I've had this problem, I've had that problem, because I speak out about it. But not everyone shares that. Not some people are embarrassed. Not every loctician is going to tell you, like, listen, y'all, I'm going to stop doing this because this is what's happening. I've had people in our program say that in a safe space. I pulled it from my menu of services. I no longer offer two-strand twist. I no longer offer the braided installs because I actually now I'm connecting the dots to the potential problems, and I don't want to offer that. I can't in good conscience offer that. But I can do a bang up job. Like the parting and everything looks fabulous when they walk out. But I'm more concerned now about the reputation of my business long term.
Mm-hmm.
Child, I just went. You say she's nasty. Oh, and that energy is also. I mean, I didn't think her energy. I don't know if y'all want me to play it again, but it was really glitchy. But I didn't care for the y'all don't listen to me. Y'all can't read. I put the effing lollipop in there. It's like this is the stereotypical stigma for the Instagram stylists. They say they get really arrogant, they have really beautiful pictures, but then like there's a lot of issues. It's unfortunate she spent a lot of money on something that won't last. Oh, did I read that one? I read that one already. I
Mm-hmm.
lost my hair with sister. I'm so sorry.
Listen,
Dang.
I have seen.
Heard that a
I
lot with the
I had one person come to me with a set of, and I don't do sister locks. I just style them and I color them. But I've never had a person to ever come to me to the point where I was like, "Oh, those sister locks look really, really good." Never, never, never.
mm.
I I don't like when I met you, years ago. I was like, she probably got the best sister locks, not knowing because of course I don't, know
It's
anything about
okay.
microlocs. But I said hers are very symmetrical, whatever you want to call it, top to bottom. there wasn't any scraggly ends. And that's the part that I don't like. And to me, I if I know that a client is coming to me and she has her hair density is off and it's real thin, I would rather say give the client a trim first before performing that service.
Exactly.
Give them a trim first. Let the hair look even and just healthy first. Because what it is that a lot of people are attached to length. And I remember I used to say on Twitter years ago, what did I used to say? I was like, something to the effect of, girl, we can see through your hair. We can see through it. If you can see through it, cut it. Trim that off so that your installation can be symmetrical and even. And I think with the sister lock community, no shade, but this is just from what I've seen over the years, they're not teaching their stylists to trim the hair first so that at least it can all look the same. The scraggly ends is what throws me off, because all it's going to take is that hair to you get caught in the door or your hair get caught on a zipper or anything, and that little part that's so thin like that snaps off. Like so thin. Just give them a trim. But that again comes with consultation. That again comes with knowledge, researching and getting the right information. If I see a client come in and wants me to do a certain look, I'm gonna tell them, hey, this, even with my traditional lock installs, I always tell them, for the sake of the grid, because some clients want this perfect grid, okay, but after a while, we're gonna have to combine this over here. We're gonna have to, because these are not gonna grow out the same as the rest. Because when I'm starting the grid pattern, most people, especially if they have thinning edges, that perimeter is always finer. It's always finer than your back here where your occipital bone is. So I always let them know, when you're doing these consultations, make sure that you're educating them on what could possibly go wrong due to
Okay.
their hair and the condition that it's in.
So I'm just looking at this. I wanted to find where it was hanging all wet and curly. So she has a looser curl, and y'all can see her curl is really, really loose. The picture that I always show, because I don't do that repairs like that anymore, but that lady that had like the sister locks at the root, and she had, I hold it up and it's all matted and tangled together. I don't think her curl is that far off from this lady's hair. And she had a sister lock interwoven pattern that still, it just wasn't done well. Right. So that interwoven lock pattern still has more of a chance, I feel, than just leaving this loose with no pattern. So when she's gonna have some of the similar problems. And it looks like if there's any I don't know if this just looks awfully shiny, but it could be the lighting. It is gonna start unraveling. It's gonna start unraveling. She's wetting it because that's what, I mean, she's seen people do. So I'm gonna be honest. This is not a skilled loctician. This is a very good braider. This is an excellent braider, but this is not a loctician. And there's two different worlds. So knowing that if I have a client with this type of hair texture, I better put in the best, strongest foundation possible, because her hair is going to have a very strong probability of wanting to come out that pattern. This is a looser curl. She's giving, I'm not going to lie, with the braid job is excellent, but this is just not the same category. I can say something looks great in the category it belongs in. It belongs in a braid style. We are using that term for not recommended foundations, for not recommended techniques that are full of problems, and it's not a foundation for a lock. So as her hair locks, now let's say we call it a Microloc because we want that word, right? We want to say locks, going to go in a lock process. Think about the lock process, the steps of the lock process. The hair starts to shrink in its curl. right? So that's what the wetting of the hair is supposed to do. It's supposed to activate your curl into the pattern we created into. But she's created a braid pattern. If you did an interwoven lock pattern, which is the opposite of what she would do at the roots, you are helping the hair curl into the pattern that crosses the hairs over in a specific way so that it can create a cylinder. And so by activating it with water, you are encouraging the curl pattern to go into that pattern that's creating a cylinder and start to take form. So they will look only fuzzy as it is forming into a cylinder. It shouldn't be flat fuzzy, which is what a braid is going to get you. It's going to look like flat fuzzy braids until after a while you figure out what you're going to do with all that loose hair at the ends. So just knowing how that process is, she's got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches of it braided, and then she's going to interlock it. So it's a whole bunch of hair that's going to be susceptible to be loosened up, curled down, not even curled into anything, curled upon itself. And then she's going to have to go in and separate each one of them. So now as it's matting, it has no real pattern to hold on to at the end, and it's really loose curl. If she doesn't know how to repair or go in and close it, tighten it up, I don't know what tool she's going to use, but she's going to find that those ends are going to never, ever be the same size as the roots, ever, unless she knows how to go in right now and do it. So they're going to swell out bigger, and then now you have to worry about hooking it onto the tool, making sure that it doesn't tangle with the hair next to it, and making sure that it doesn't unloose. It's just a lot. I always want to say there's a difference between someone who can do a really good grid, I used to say grititians, but or a braider versus someone who really knows the anatomy and structure and process of locking hair on this small level. I just don't know what she's expecting it to do. And then the combination of the language, just that just took me out. I was like, girl, she's got a lot of attention. It sounds like someone that's getting a ton of views, getting a lot of business for these installs. But that's a quick way to crash and burn, right? You want to have people do you have nurtured their hair for years. Those are going to be your money makers, your clients that you keep on your rosters, continuous money, right? April,
Yeah.
every 6 weeks, you're going to have $400 or $300 from Miss So and so. And then you might have the same cycle of people you see every 6 weeks. You're going to get this set amount of money. Not when they're going to come into you and say, "Can you fix this? What's happening here?" Or I'm right now. I'm finding out this probably wasn't how I wanted it done, and you're going to lose that, and your reputation is going to take a hit, and another hit, and another hit, or you're going to just try to live off the fame of the installs until reality hits. I love all of this education. Thank you for addressing these common misconceptions people fall. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be a hater when I'm looking at these things. I try to cover the names, and I give her credit for being a great braider. But I want people to say, understand that when you're crossing over into the lock room, you're crossing over into a lock realm. If you're not ready for locks, I would really say don't get locks.
Right.
Call it what it is, and real figure out if you're going to do this. It's a temporary thing, or if you want something permanent, I suggest you do your real due diligence for a permanent style. Do
Mm.
whatever you want if you're gonna take it out. I don't care. Like if she's leaving this in and she's calling in micro braids, but to say locks, it just gives me the impression that you're trying to lock this permanently, and that's where it's like that doesn't match what you're doing.
Yeah, the process is definitely going to be different. Um, I've locked hair all types of ways, to be honest with you. Um, and the results vary. The results definitely vary. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that the hair is not coming out. But what I noticed that this new trend is the loose ends. When what's her name? Dr. Carey, when she created that goddess look,
Mm-hmm.
have ran with it. They've ran with it. But what she did, she was doing it as temporary look. She wasn't doing it as a permanent look. I
Mm.
don't think she was doing it as a permanent look when she came out with the goddess look. Because I think she came out with that look on Megan Good.
Yes.
And it was pretty. It's giving Lisa Bonet. Now but see, Lisa Bonet's hair, her hair was like that, but that was a natural thing. And then she also wasn't into that whole lock maintenance. She's free flowing hippie, So that's
Mm-hmm.
what those looks come with. But people have to understand when you're braiding, two stranding, anything other than a interlock or a interwoven process, those results are going to vary. And you're going to have
Mhm.
a lot of different things going on with that lock
Mhm.
if you're not being consistent from start to finish. I've even seen that when I've done two strand. Like I've had some clients that I've started their locks with two strands, and you would never, you would never ever know. I have some clients that because their hair was curly, it was starting to come out a little bit, and we had to go in and do all these things. So I don't even offer that service no more.
Mhm. Yeah.
Off because it's too much work
Yeah.
to fix.
You you
Too
said
much work
something
to
I
fix.
thought it's too much work to fix that hold on, I want to see before I lose this thought real quick. You said something. And this is where it gets to be an uncomfortable no, not really an uncomfortable conversation. It's just a raw one. I'm gonna be honest, because I have mentioned this in the past when I was noticing, like you said, the Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet is biracial, right? Right. So she has a looser curl and beautiful, right? So their hair locks a different way. And so now we see with the faux locks, we see a lot of the replica. It's fine. It's a style. We've always mimicked European kind of hair anyway. So,
Mhm.
but when I see certain things, my 4C hair is never going to achieve a certain curl. So when I see like people asking for things that don't really, I don't know, either it doesn't really fit or it doesn't fit into locks. It for African American women as a whole, like what we traditionally had, but they're not asking for these things. It just strikes that radar in me, and I don't want to be that person. But I told you I'm a therapist. I'm a social worker. I talk about race. I talk about how as Black women, our identity, and some of that stuff comes up. It comes up. It comes up. Like, do we want to have our hair locked, or do we want it to be a curly look? We can achieve a curly look in another way. And I'm just being honest. I feel some of that has seeped into our psyche a little bit.
Right.
And really, really embracing matted hair is something that some people still struggle. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I struggle with my hair texture for a long time. I just finished installing 700. You them people that count them. It's micro twist on your head about 400 plus in the front, over 300. Dang. Oh wow. So how long is your hair? So you got the twist and the texture. So again, it's not uncommon that they do unravel. If you want to confirm you like the size, here's another thing with sizing that a loctician understands is that our install size is not the final size. If you're doing a two-strand twist, even can't really speak on that as an in. So when I talk about sizing for the interlock, interwoven lock technique, I talk about how much it will swell and expand out of that technique, and that's a much more impact tighter pattern than a two-strand twist. It's just swell.
It's
I
breaking
think my
up.
computer is acting up. Okay,
Okay.
can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay. Two-strand twist is going to swell in a more uncontrollable way. It depends on curl pattern. It depends on a bunch of different things. When you're interlocking your base, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a discrepancy still. It's going to be, you're not using the same pattern. So when I two-strand twist my hair, it becomes jumbo. It becomes, even if the smaller, I had played around with a loose patch of hair that I had here. And I said, if I ever find it, I will show y'all how when I two-strand twisted it versus the rest of them being interlocked. And it took forever to lock. It was a different size. And now it was just all fragile. I had to go in and strengthen it. It was like lumpy in one spot. It was just so different and was not real. It didn't show me the realistic thing that my interlocked hair would do. It didn't. So if you're looking for sizes, that's why we do test locks and consultations with the same technique. That's what the test lock was for. When a person knows how to do an interwoven lock technique and you're curious about sizing, we'll do a test lock. And we do different sizes if you want. Sometimes people will feel it and they'll say, "Ooh, this is too small." And then we'll go back and we'll do another test lock, using more hair at the base. And then they'll say, "Oh, okay, I like this size better." And I would even mist it with water and let the curl start and say, as it curls in, leave it in for a day or two, you'll start to see more realistically what it will swell to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really the same way with a twist. Hi lady. I can't tell you might have a lot more hair than me. I don't have that much hair. I don't think I had 700. I might have had I don't even know. I didn't count my
Oh,
locks.
that's a lot of hair.
And you might have a lot more hair
And
than
the
me.
fact that she counted it, girl, kudos.
That's why in my brain I had to admit my
My
brain.
brain, I can't. That's why I do traditional locks. My hats is off to y'all that do the micros, that do the sisters, brothers, and everybody else. I cannot. I cannot.
Yeah. I can't see it. Monica, it would have to be video, get on video, do a consult to see, more about your own particular hair to be able to tell you what would be good. And locks, don't go by lock numbers too much because things happen. Edges get lost and ate up when you're postpartum. Whole bunch
Right.
of stuff
Stressed
happens.
out.
It doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean the same thing. It's closing up the ends using interwoven technique. I should have started with ends. So I say stick to what you are using to maintain it. Your hair growing out of your scalp. That's what I love the beauty of the interwoven technique is because it starts the way your hair is going to grow out. We start down here. We don't start here. So we're already working with with what's happening so that all that we're working on is always going to be here, not here. You don't have to worry about closing. If you do it properly, you shouldn't have to worry about down here too much because you're going to start it um, the proper way, and then
Mhm.
we might have to do a couple of things here and there for a few locks, but you should never be going in hundreds of locks at a time. Trying to, and some people are trying to braid it down and twist it down, and it's just you could just have a much more seamless process where you are doing the same exact pattern. You started when you left off and getting that new growth every time it grows out. That's the beautiful thing about it. Hey, love bug, who you saying hi to? Are you saying hi to me? You're not saying hi to me, Tasha. I love you, Tasha. That sounds weird. No. Hey,
Love to.
oh, everybody's saying hi to her and she's saying hi back. Oh, hi, Frida. I love you too. Hi. Oh, hello from it. Oh, we going backwards? Oh, I see. Everybody's commenting.
Oh, that's
Lisa here.
yeah.
Who's Lisa? But it's everyone
Okay.
wants. Oh, you literally could say something 2 minutes later. I'm like, who? Hi, Tosha. Your hair's about 12 inches stretch. You got a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Whew. It would be good to put it in the pattern. Now you have a lot of it showing. Although, I don't think it's the best technique. It's a little better if people start with less hair because now most of it is growing out. It'll be pulled tighter in the pattern. But if it's already 12 out and you're starting it that way, it's gonna be um
Hey,
a
Frida.
longer time for it to yeah. What's yes, we can hear you. I don't count locks. I don't count them either. To count them and let me know. Right. Keep
Yes.
what up, number of locks. Oh Lord. I try not to be a nerd, but y'all know I'm a whole like psychology and sociology. I like always fascinated by how people think in groups. And I'm not trying to judge because I fall into, but I've noticed patterns and trends when people ask the same questions. I see another trend, with the grids. I see a trend with counting locks and rosewater was a trend. So I see like people ask for the same things in waves. I tell people always is how I try to keep myself thinking independently. I ask what's the purpose for that and is it necessary? And then if you find out the purpose, oh, okay. If I'm getting extensions, I might want to know how many you have if I'm extending your locks. But other than that, you telling me you have it might give me a loose sense of what you have if you say you have 700 locks versus saying you have 200 locks. That might help me out, but I don't need to know exact number because it really doesn't. My brain is like, huh? Okay. I'll know that you have a certain amount of locks, but you could also have a small head, a big head, a lot of hair, a little bit. You have a big head, right? And you tell me you have a certain number, and there's way less locks in a little head that has the same number. That's mean, but I have a big head, so I could say, of course, of my big head, right? All right, we're going to start winding it down. I just want to reiterate my points. April, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, just to make sure everyone follows me on all social media.
Yes.
At Stylist April B. For those of you who don't know, Jessica and I are teaming up. Kind of bringing some elements of my traditional lock experience over to the micro lock world as far as with styling techniques. So make sure if when you go to my Instagram, matter of fact, I can put it in the chat.
Yes.
I'll give my link tree and you'll find, make sure that you all join. I wonder if it's going to let me do it because it always acts stupid when I
Mhm.
try to
You
link.
can
See,
you
it
can
doesn't
put
do
it in
it.
the comments and then I'll show it too. Tosha says I only count locks for 2-strand twist styles because if the client has an odd number, I can put a 3-strand in the back. Okay.
Right.
And you do a wide range of locks too. So you do traditional size as well. So
I put it in the private chat, and then Jessica's going to put it in the regular chat.
okay.
I don't know why it doesn't let me do that, but yeah. Um, make sure you join the link. There's a stylist link in there. So if you're interested in any of my replays, I know a few of you all purchased the Black Friday program that me and Jessica had together. And I'm curious to know if any of you guys that purchased it are in here. Um, let me know what you think, what you have learned from the style videos, because me and Jessica got a lot for you guys this year.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, Sister Like loose ends. And to have Sister Locks on loose ends, Sister Joanne Cromwell advises again. She don't. It's not instructed to leave hair out, so that's interesting when I see it happen. I don't want
I see a
frizzy
lot of
ends.
that. I see a lot of the frizzy ends. Those frizzy ends they could turn into larger. They're gonna continue to swell.
And mat together.
Yeah.
Big, big lumps, big lumps. I've seen that a lot. So smooth out those in the program. I always say to go in and smooth down that lock. Get the spots. I think there's a module called Puffy or Spot. It's closing holes and maybe smoothing out bumps. It still same technique. You can go ahead and do that. And if there's someone, we talk about how to like put that in your service properly because you could be spending all day and you don't want to spend all day if someone doesn't understand what you're doing or appreciate it. But you can make that a repair job too if someone wants that. If they don't want it, fine. But if you have an issue retightening, getting the hair on that tool, pulling it through because it can happen at that bumpy end. Just if it gets too hard, it gets hard to pull through without hurting, no matter the tool. And it's something that you can do before it gets to that point. I would definitely try to make it as smooth as possible. I know not everybody wants the nice, neat, refined locks. So then that's why I tell people, if someone's doing this as a service and you want your stamp or your brand, your styling to be a certain category of refinement, then you should be having these kind of conversations with potential clients. Because if they're getting anything outside of that, or it's a lot of repairs needed or whatever, it could really tarnish the image that you have. If you want to have it, if you want to have a certain like look or quality, I wanted to have what I wanted, and I wanted my hair to be. I was like, I want my hair to be neat because I just wanted like really neat hair. I wasn't a freeform person. That's not me, but it could be somebody else. But I knew that I also wanted to give that as a service. So if I have people coming and asking for things that don't align with that, it's okay to say no because they're going to be walking around as billboards for your work. So, stands true on what's going to be a good reflection of the quality that you want to do. And also, honestly, integrity. Some people are like, that's more money for me to fix people's hair. But after a while, you get tired of fixing stuff to you. It's really nice to have hair that's just beautiful, doing what everyone wants it to do, client, the pro, instead of coming in and having 8-hour sessions because, that's like nightmare. And it's not pleasurable for anybody to come and have to constantly fix things. So that's just my little spiel. Precious Mrs. Special. Yeah. Oh. All right, y'all. We got tired. I'm tired. We had a long day today. Listen, here's my last spiel. If you're liking this on Facebook, no, if you're liking this on YouTube, the 2 YouTube channels, please like, please follow, please subscribe if you can. If you have found any value, you can also join our Facebook group if you are not in the Facebook group, and you're watching this on YouTube. I'm going to share the link for you to join our Facebook group at the bottom. And we still have our free webinar going on as well. which is the same thing you see at the bottom. Take off join and put webinar. I'll share that in a minute. And then you'll see me in April sharing some stuff with y'all down the line. What else? Am I missing anything?
No.
All right. Okay, so that's the Facebook group. And I'm gonna share. Oh, tonight. Oh, I need to hurry up and let the coaches get ready. At 7 p.m., we have our first group coaching class for those in the Microloc Mastery Essentials program. Y'all will join. You should have RSVP, but if you didn't, go into the community or go into your module and go under live. If you RSVP, you'll get an email and you just click the button and you go to the room and you'll see everyone in there. You'll see Tosha and Frida. I'm going to try to pop in there after I get my daughter from after school. Here's the free webinar at the bottom. And the team is going to walk you through the course for the next 5 weeks. We give y'all extra week. If you don't have your supplies, don't worry. They're gonna be there by next week because we had a couple of people join in the past few days. Welcome all new members, and I'm excited for y'all. Hopefully, you'll be getting certification on February 19th. That's the last day. Then we'll open up. We usually open up enrollment again. Those who were on the wait list, y'all had an offer. And some people have been asking for, we have payment plans, we have a whole bunch of stuff. So my thing is acting glitchy. There's a couple comments I see here. Oh, Tashia, welcome. Yes, welcome to Microloc Mastery Group. Listen, you're always twisting them after you shampoo. That's annoying, right? You should just be wash and go. Wash and go. So if you know how to, or you want to learn how to, we can show you how to go in and close up those ends. And we have a tool for that as well so that you can get as close to the bottom as possible. It's not really too difficult. Ready, Nicole, our scholarship winner. Nicole is joining in on her first class. Congratulations, Nicole. And also Deborah. Yes, I know Deborah. Listen, your supplies, you're gonna have them by the next class. I think because of the forms being signed a little late, it overlapped. I had to go out of town and I just got back, and we did what we could with what we had signed before that. I think you signed it right after the shipment, but don't worry, your stuff is coming out ASAP. You'll get it very soon, like next couple of days. Welcome everyone. Yay! All right. With that being said, I've gone way over time. Jeez, hour and a half. Okay. All right, everyone. April, you have any closing?
No. Just have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Remember, not every small grid is a micro lock. It could be a micro braid. It could be a micro twist. It could be a micro temporary concoction collaboration of multiple techniques. But when it comes to a lock, we want to not every small thing is going to be able to be not damaging. All right. No problem. Okay.
All right, y'all.
All right. Now, bye, y'all. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.